you know, I've had all these different trainings. I've had stage trainings. I've had all these trainings to how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to present yourself, what you're supposed to say. And I don't follow any of them. And half the time I sit down to do something, I really don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I really have to work at lining up a webinar and what we're going to cover, because so many things come in and I want to cover so many things. And there's so many things that come in during a webinar that isn't said before the webinar. Well, that happens all the time. So anyways, you guys, you know, we're here to transform. We're here to grow. We're here to become into the oneness. That's what it's all about. And I want to share my story with you. And I'm going to make it short. Because this wasn't my idea at all. I grew up in a very religious family. And when I was 18, my cat got really sick. And we didn't know what was wrong with her. I thought she was going to die. And one night I sat on my bed. I said, God, what do I do? And I heard, put your hands on her and pray. And I did. And I woke up the next morning. She was completely healed. It looked like she was never sick. And it freaked me out. And I didn't tell anybody. And I've always known things through the years. And I knew what I was being taught wasn't right. Why would a God love you so much and judge you and you're a sinner and you're going to go to hell? I never got that. It was so confusing. And then I started getting a lot of information. Well, I've always gotten a lot of information, but this one time when I was 18, I was going to go for a ride on my boyfriend's bike, and we're going to go for a picnic. And I kept hearing, don't get on the bike. 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 Over and over and over again for like 36 hours. So when he came to get me, I said, I'm not getting on the bike. And we argued and we discussed, and he gave me a helmet. I got on the bike. On the way back from our picnic, got in a really bad motorcycle accident. And I know today I wouldn't be alive if I wasn't wearing that helmet. That's what this scar here is. Knocked out a tooth, got a bridge. And I'm telling you this because we all have that advice and we don't listen to it. I didn't listen to it. I can go on and on and on all the times I didn't listen to this, but that's a big one. And still through the years, I fought it. And in 1999, I had a really good job. I had a nanny for my kids. I just bought a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house. And by myself, I had gone through a divorce. And I kept hearing, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be a healer. Over and over and over again. And I finally said, okay, God, I'll do what you want me to do, but don't kill me or my kids. Right? We're all alive. And I started following this advice in and out. Of course, I fought with it all the time too. I mean, seriously, I could probably go on for 3 hours about all of that. But I started this path, and I started, I took hypnosis from this really amazing guy in Marina Del Rey, and he lived in India for I don't know how many years. And I'm going to teach his class using some of his scripts. But anyways, so amazing. And he taught me hypnosis. And I had my friend read me the script, and I wanted to know who my spirit guide was. So we altered the script, and I connected with Chum. And that started me with that. And then I started talking to angels through hypnosis. And then I started teaching angel classes in Ventura. And it was the 3rd go around, I think it was, of a 6-week class, standing room only, totally packed. I freaked out. I was starting to get known, and I got scared. I changed my phone number. I had a yellow page ad, you guys. I changed my phone number. I had to go on food stamps. I couldn't feed my kids. Here it is, Christmas, and I have no money for my rent. I'm 3 days late for rent. And it was 2003 by this time. A lot of stuff went on between there. Tell you another time. So I went for a walk on the beach and I started screaming at God, if you want me to be a healer, you have to pay my rent and you have to do it now. And I went home, and about an hour later, a client knocked on my door and handed me a check for $1,500. It paid my rent and bought my kids Christmas. And when she handed it to me, it was from her boyfriend. She said, God told my boyfriend to give this to you. And it was like, wow. I'm going to zoom through a lot of stuff. Recently, I did that. It's like, all right, God, I'm ready, man. I need a man in my life. I need somebody next to me doing this. I've been doing this alone for 24 years. Boom. He showed up 2 weeks later. Cool thing was I already knew him from 1997. And we had so much fun then. Within 6 weeks of talking and 2 weekends together, he moved in. 3 months later, we moved to Mexico. And we're here in the Yucatan of Mexico. It's seriously heaven on earth. It's just wonderful. But through all of this, it was a big struggle. Huge struggle. So much learning, so much changing. It's been wild. I did a lot of different trainings, and every time I would do this training, I would hear, this is for your training, this isn't what you're going to be doing. Went back into the workforce. Did a really good job, could make a lot of money working for other people. But I could, and then I decided I was ready. I went back into the healing business full time, back on food stamps. In 2011, I met this guy online. We were talking on Facebook, and then we were talking on Zoom, and we talked for like 4 months, and he wanted to marry me. He was an attorney in England. And so I went over to spend some time with him. And when I was on the train to his house, because I never felt like he was my soulmate, but I really enjoyed talking to him. But my friends all, go, 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 go. So I went. And when I went over there, I had $200 in my account. That was it. This is the beginning of 2012. And I went for a walk one morning. And I said, all right, God, this isn't my soulmate. Why in the hell am I here? You know, what am I doing here? And I heard to go to the Rosalind Chapel. And when I went to the Rosalind Chapel, well, I'm shortening this up really fast, but I was told to go to the Rosalind Chapel, which was in Scotland. I booked a train in a B&B, and I was told to invite one of my clients that lived in Scotland to meet me there. So I sent her a message, said, sure. And we met at the Rosalind Chapel 2 days later. And I went and I sat in the pews. And when I did, I said, okay, God, I'm here. And I was told to go into the Akashic Records. And when I went into the Akashic Records, I was met by this being, and I didn't know who he was. Remember, I used to teach angel classes, you guys. I had no idea who he was. And I'm all, who are you? And he says, well, I heard Lord Antoine. And then I'd hear, that's not right. But it was Lord Metatron. And I connected with Lord Metatron. He said he was there to assist me. And when he said that, the spinning energy started coming into the top of my head. And we were dizzy, our heads hurt. And I know why she was there, because I had to witness that on her. You know what I mean? I think I kind of freaked her out. I haven't really talked to her much since then. That energy was powerful, man. And I received this energy. And when we were done, he kissed me on the forehead. And then he told me, you're now crystalline, give this to others. So I went back to my B&B and I got on Skype and was talking to all my friends. Guess what happened? Do you want it? And they're all, sure. So I would give them this activation. I didn't know what in the hell it was. Right? I had no idea. So I give him this activation, and but I wouldn't see the golden seals going. But I saw the activation happen. It's like, huh, that's interesting. So after this happened, I went back to that gentleman's house, and it was time for me to go back to California because I had a 3-week ticket. And I just kept hearing, it's not time to go. It's not time to go. You can't go. You can't go. So, but I didn't know what to do. I couldn't stay there. You know, I didn't want to marry him. And I didn't know what to do. And remember, I had $200 and no credit cards at the time. So I sent a message to a friend in London, and he says, come stay with us. We just moved into a flat. We have an extra room, him and his girlfriend. I'd only talked to him on Facebook. He'd interviewed me once. And so I ended up staying with them for a couple weeks, and or well, longer than that. And while I was there, I went to Stonehenge. And I was told, go to Stonehenge. I went, okay. I didn't have that much interest in it. You guys, I didn't know about sacred sites. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, a bunch of stones, big deal, right? So I went to Stonehenge, and I walked around, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I went and I had an hour left. The bus wasn't going to leave yet to go back to London. So I got a hot coffee, and I'm sitting there freezing my butt off. England is freaking cold. I was from California. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm here. And I heard again, go into the Akashic Records. And I did. And there was Lord Metatron again. And so I knew who he was. Well, I didn't. I was still calling him Lord Antoine at that time. So he comes, kisses me on the forehead, and the energy starts flowing. Pouring in. And I went, holy cow, what are you doing to me? Stop what you're doing. I was so scared. And I'm not kidding you guys. It freaked me out. And he came to me, he says, don't worry about it, Tamra, you're safe. Let it continue. And I said, okay. So it just kept coming in, and it was like, wow. And then a couple days later, or a week later, I'm not sure, I got this other activation. I was told to go into the Akashic Records again, and I did. And now this time there's 2 beings standing there. And I said, well, who are you? And he says, I'm Moses. And I'm all, Moses who? I know I'd freaking talked to Moses. And I know that the beings that were coming forward to work with me is because of my religious beliefs. You know, since then I've worked with Buddha and all kinds of other ones, you know, Kuan Yin, segment, I can go on and on. But anyways, so this energy came in, and I called it the Moses codes. But I would see this sacred geometry energy in the people's fields, and I would see these bars being reconnected, and like these gold light connections, like lighting up, and the energy flowing. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue. And I went back to my friend's house, and or I was at my friend's house. So a couple days later, he has this party. Oh, quickly, I was told these take 3 weeks to integrate. Give them the time they need, right? So they're having a party. I say Friday night, they're having a party on Saturday. I say on Friday night, okay, God, I'm ready for this energy to integrate. I'm done waiting. I'm over it. Bring it on. So this is Friday night. Saturday night, I got out of bed at 5 p.m. to get ready for the party because I couldn't get out of bed. So I attended the party. I was back in bed by midnight as the party raged on till 3 a.m. And then I got up on Monday. So it knocked me out for 3 days. And that isn't the last time. But during that time, I shifted so much, I can't even believe it. So then I went off to Spain and got the Christ consciousness activation, or the flower of life there. I went on to Glastonbury, England, went on to, there I got heaven on heaven on earth. Such a great activation. I think I'm gonna run that today. Then I went off to Italy, because I was too cold. I was used to, California weather, and here I am in Europe. And I went over to Italy, and in Italy, I was alone in a country I didn't speak the language, by myself, next to the sea. And boy, did I get so much learning, so much activations. Learn Lord Antoine's name was Lord Metatron. Learned I was actually doing sacred geometry, had no clue. I had this client, or really a friend too, that for years I kept telling her to change her blood pressure medication. She wouldn't listen to me. She had a stroke. She calls me. I said, go to the hospital. She didn't listen to me. She went home, went to bed. Had another stroke. Calls me. Can't move my arm. Can't walk. I was so mad at her. I went and picked her up, drove her to the hospital. Yep, 2 strokes. She would have listened to me. She wouldn't have had the second stroke, right? Which was the big damage. So for a year, I had been trying to help her. I couldn't do anything. Nothing moved. So I had 3 activations, and I ran them on her. The next morning she woke up 95% better. She could brush her hair, she could do her bra, she got off the walker, because her left arm and leg were almost completely paralyzed, and she got all the motion back. She had a bit of a limp, but anyway, she started doing them again a year later, and you couldn't even tell she had a stroke. And it blew me away. And I had people with cancer calling me and doing sessions, going in the next day for surgery, gone. Now, I can't claim any of this. I'm not a healer. I'm a facilitator. I work for God. And all healing is self-healing. But I've been doing this for 20 years of helping you get out of your way. So that's who I am. That's my story in a very quick version. I'm here to help. I'm here to assist. And just be of service. And because really my drive is heaven on earth, and you guys, we all make up one body. We're all one. We're all important. So remember how important you are. And my job also is to help you live in peace, love, joy, and happiness. So there we go. I'll continue the story when it continues. I'm happily living in the Yucatan, Mexico with my favorite boyfriend ever. And life is seriously a dream. It's amazing. Thank you.